ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भगवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवतीर्नैष्टिकीर्। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 27, Verse 25. यथा हि अप्रतिबुद्ध्यस्य प्रस्वप्यो बव अनर्थभृत् स एव प्रतिबुद्धस्य न वैमोहय कल्पते। यथा हि अप्रतिबुद्धस्य प्रस्वपो बव अनर्थभृत् स एव प्रतिबुद्धस्य न वैमोहय कल्पते। Yatha, as, he, indeed, apratibuddhasya, of one who is sleeping, prasvapa, the dream, bahu anarthabrit, bearing many inauspicious things, sa eva, that very dream, pratibuddhasya, of one who is awake, na, not, vai, certainly, mohaya, for bewildering, kalpate, is capable. Translation. In the dreaming state, one's consciousness is almost covered, and one sees many inauspicious things. But when he is awakened and fully conscious, such inauspicious things cannot bewilder him. In the condition of dreaming, when one's consciousness is almost covered, one may see many unfavorable things, which causes disturbance or anxiety upon awakening. Although he remembers what happened in the dream, he is not disturbed. Similarly, the position of self-realization or understanding of one's real relationship with the Supreme Lord makes one completely satisfied, and the three modes of material nature, which are the causes of all disturbances, cannot affect him. In contaminated consciousness, one sees everything to be for his own enjoyment. But in pure consciousness or Krishna consciousness, he sees that everything exists for the enjoyment of the supreme enjoyer. That is the difference between the dream state and the wakefulness. The state of contaminated consciousness compared to dream consciousness and Krishna consciousness is compared to the awakened stage of life. Actually, as stated in Bhagavad Gita, the only absolute enjoyer is Krishna, one who can understand that Krishna is the proprietor of all the three worlds and that he is the friend of everyone, is peaceful and independent. As long as the conditioned soul does not have this knowledge, he wants to be the enjoyer of everything. He wants to become a humanitarian or a philanthropist and open hospitals and schools for his fellow human beings. This is all illusion, for one cannot benefit anyone by such material activities. If one wishes to benefit his fellow brother, he must awaken his dormant Krishna consciousness. The Krishna conscious person is that of Pratibuddha, which means pure consciousness. The Krishna conscious position is that of Pratibuddha, which means pure consciousness. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरों वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखामृतांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते तप्त कंचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Haribol, dear devotees, I hope you all are well. A very good morning to all of you. Um, Thank you all for joining me and all of us for today's Srimad Bhagavatam discussion. Today's verse, as let's move to the translation, is an analogy about dreaming and sleeping. And given that it is morning and we all have just woken up, I wanted to take some time to explore the intricacies of dreaming and sleeping, and how it's such a fit analogy for spiritual awakening, for spiritual realization. Just gonna move here. So I wanted to bring your attention to this picture. These are the various sleep stages. So during a particular night, maybe like last night, the body goes through 4 or 6 of these cycles where there's falling asleep, the heart rate slowing and the body temperature drops, deep sleep, and a sort of body paralysis where dreams begin. So that's REM sleep. So these are the different stages of a sleep cycle. And the body goes through about 4 to 6 cycles of these sleep cycles every night. Right? So first we start off, you turn off the lights a little bit. Maybe you start to read a little bit, or as soon as, maybe sometimes after a long day, as soon as your head hits the pillow, you're out. Or maybe you're reading a little bit and then slowly, gradually, your eyelids close, your body starts to shift towards the bed, and then you're falling asleep. And then in stage 2, your heart rate is slowing down and the body temperature is dropping. So the body is conserving this energy for its working life in during the day. Right? So the heart rate is slowing, so it's conserving energy, and the body temperature is dropping because you're able to conserve that energy and you don't need it while you're working and awake. And then stage 3 and 4 is deep sleep. So this is actually very interesting. So dreams don't happen in this stage. You're asleep, and in this sleep, the growth hormone is released, muscles and tissues are repaired, and there's deep sleep, which allows the body to fully conserve all of its energy and replenish all of its reserves for the next day. Then there is REM sleep. So I just want to mention that the stage 3 and 4 sleep is especially important. Most people think that the REM sleep is the most important part, but this 3 and 4 deep sleep is the most important because it allows our bodies to get ready for the next day. So if you're ever feeling very tired after a long day, it's probably because the stage 3 and 4 of sleep wasn't fully utilized by the body. So sleep is very important. Sleep is very important, especially for devotees. And then there's REM sleep, where the body is paralyzed and dreams begin. So I want to particularly talk about this particular stage of sleep. And again, these 4 to 5 stages, they are repeated 4 to 6 times every night. So in REM sleep, the body is paralyzed and dreams begin. So I want to make this know that when we start to dream, our bodies, our gross bodies are unable to move. So I'm going to throw something out is that have you ever been dreaming? Maybe it's a very, very scary dream. Maybe you're running away from something, or you are you are you are very scared of something, you're locked away somewhere, or something is happening, or you're falling. Maybe some people have this dream that they're falling from a large place, and you want to shake yourself out of it. You know you're in a dream, but you can't. And that's because your body is paralyzed. Your body stops, and your gross body stops, and your subtle body takes over. And when a subtle body takes over, this experience of dreaming begins, where you're fully in a different place, right? We've had sometimes when you're daydreaming, your gross body is somewhere and your subtle body is somewhere else, but you can easily click back. But the experience of dreaming is such that you can't even if you do realize that you are in a dream, it becomes so difficult or impossible to get out because the body itself is paralyzed. There is no way for the mind to understand that, oh, I'm sleeping, for the person to understand, oh, I'm sleeping, I can leave, right? So this is this whole conundrum in psychology is what's called night terrors. So it's worse than a nightmare, right? Nightmare is a very, very bad dream, but a night terror is the worst kind of nightmare, and the person is stuck in it. This person is paralyzed in it, and it's very scary, right? So sometimes when we wake up from a dream and we're just waking up from a dream, and you can almost remember the outline of the dreams and what was happening. You're waking up from this REM sleep, or rapid eye movement sleep. And yeah, so and like the name, the eye is closed, but the eye is moving and fidgeting a lot because it's seeing all of this around it, that, oh my goodness, there's this dream happening, but I can't do anything about it, right? So the body is paralyzed and the dreams begin. So that's a little bit about the biology and the biology and psychology of dreams. And I wanted to give this background because I think it sets up why Kapila Muni chose this analogy for the experience of spiritual awakening and why it's so apt. So, 1 second. So if we go back to the verse, in the dreaming state, one's consciousness is almost covered and one sees many inauspicious things. But when he is awakened and fully conscious, such inauspicious things cannot bewilder him. So when you're in that dreaming or REM state, your consciousness is covered, right? So the subtle body is unable to take control of that gross body so it's covered. And we see so many terrifying things, right? Um, um, and some we have so many scary dreams and so many things. Oh, this happened to my daughter in my dream. This happened to my father in my dream. This happened to me in my dream. And oftentimes these dreams cause us so much stress and so much anxiety. They make us think, will this happen in the future? Will this happen in the past? Has it happened? Will this happen in the future? And so the subtle body is storing all of the subtle body is storing all of the information from past lives and what will happen in previous lives in this very, very weird way. And so this very, very weird and distorted reflection of our past experiences and our future experiences are stored in our dreams, right? And so it's very difficult to think that, oh, is this going to be my reality when I awake? But the truth is that when we awake and when we are fully conscious, we see that none of the frightening images in our dreams were real, not the scary monster, not the looming darkness, not the awful things that happen to our family, none of those things are real. Um, and sometimes so you need a little consolation that none of those things happen because the dream seems so real. And I think that's the kicker of this particular verse, is that the dream seems so real, and our material lives, like our lives in this world, seem so real. They seem incredibly real to us, incredibly attached to our identity. They seem grounded in reality. But Kapila Muni is making this point that with the belief that this material world is real, it it's almost like that we are dreaming. We are dreaming. We're not seeing the reality. And it's very difficult. It's very difficult to think that we are all dreaming. And it's very difficult to realize that. I definitely don't think I'm in the position to say that I am dreaming all the time. It doesn't feel like that. So I wanted to bring up this background because I think it helps make it more clear why this material world seems so real, but it's not. So there is a point that although one remembers what happened in the dream, they are not disturbed. And so when one is awakened in spiritual consciousness, they remember what happened in their past life, but because they have come to the truth that Krishna is the friend of everyone, he's the proprietor of everything, they're not disturbed. And when the person sees that everything exists for the supreme enjoyment of Krishna, then that belief gives them, that faith gives them a very different point of view of life and allows them not to be affected by the ups and downs of material nature. They don't get too excited or too sad, too happy or too disappointed. They're steady. Doesn't mean that they're always like this, but they're not affected too much because they see everything in relation to Krishna. And so when one is awakened to the supreme truth, they're able to make peace with the material world and their relationship with Krishna. Another example from the Bhagavad Gita of the material world not being real is the chapter 15 example of the banyan tree. So here you'll see a picture of a banyan tree, and you'll see the very, very real looking reflection of the banyan tree in the water. So you'll see all the vines and you'll see all of the material world through that reflection. But that reflection is not real. The banyan tree above it, on top, on land is the real thing. But it looks so real and it seems so real. So in the same way, this material world is a reflection of the material world. Um, and when we awaken to spiritual realization, when we see, wait, this is simply a reflection of the spiritual world, when we see that Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, and then we're able to differentiate the two, and we're able to see their relationship as well. That not only, but not they're not just distinct, but they're also similar in that this is an extension of Krishna's energy and it can be utilized in Krishna's service. Yes. Just something. So now that we've talked a little bit about dreaming, and we talked a lot about bad dreams, I want to take a moment to talk a little bit about good dreams or beautiful dreams, or dreams in which we feel incredibly connected to Krishna, or dreams in which some of our samskaras lead us to remember times when we were very close to Krishna, or samskaras that will lead us to feel that we will be very close to Krishna because it's all connected. And I wanted to share how this one story, or this one small anecdote about this wonderful devotee. He was a very wonderful yogi, and he used to meditate every day. And one day while meditating, he made some very, very hot, I think payasam, or some very, very hot sweet for Krishna. And he was like, he imagined, okay, I'm washing all the ingredients and I'm pouring in, this, and then I'm pouring in some sugar, and then I'm mixing it up. I'm gonna add some water. Oh no, not that much water, maybe a little less, and takes them out. And then he puts it on the stove, and then he watches intently, he watches the water bubble and everything, and then this aroma of the dessert smells so wonderful, but he puts a cloth over his mouth in his dream, and he imagines that this is all happening, and that when I give this to Krishna, he's gonna love it so much. And and so he's going through this whole sequence in his dream of making this beautiful dish for Krishna. And at one point, he starts to take some and he puts it on a plate for Krishna and Radharani, and he puts some tulsi. But then a thought comes to his head. Is this too hot, or does this taste right? Let me just taste a little bit to make sure that the sugar is just right, because I think I might have put too much sugar. And so he takes a little tiny bit and he puffs it in his mouth, and immediately his finger gets burnt and his tongue is burnt. And then that's what wakes him out of his dream. And surprisingly, he wakes up and he's under this banyan tree, but he notices that his index finger is burnt. It's like red hot burnt, and his tongue is burnt too. And so in these small ways, we talked about bad dreams, but we're also talking about good dreams. In these small ways, Krishna finds a way to talk to his devotees and to speak with him and become closer with them, to make them feel that we are closer, that that we can have this practical relationship with him through our dreams. So, this is all I have for today. Thank you all so much for joining. If there's any discussion items, please feel free to share. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. If anybody have any discussion points, would like to ask a question or share a reflection, we still have 4 minutes. You can go ahead. Yeah, if nobody has any questions or reflections, we'll end quick, early today. We'd like to wish you all a safe and Krishna conscious day ahead. And we'd like to offer our prayers to the Supreme Lord by chanting Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare.
Rama Rama,
Shri Nrsimha, Jai Nrsimha, Jai Jai Nrsimha, Praladesha, Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Bhanga. Ugraveera
Hare
Mahavishnu Jvalantam
Krishna,
Sarvatomukam
Bhagavatam
Narsingham
Sarvabhaum,
Vishnu Bhadram Nityam
Darshan
Nityam
Krishna,
Namami.
Bhajram, Murti Namami,
Nrsimha Bhagwan ki
Ki
Jai,
Jai,
Prahlad Maharaj ki
Ki
Jai.
Jai,
Let's offer our humble obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnavas. Vanchakalpatarubhascha kripa
Vanchakalpatarubhasya
sindhu
Kripa
bhayavacha
Sindhu
patitanam
Patitanam
pavanebhyo
Bhavane
Vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavi
namo namaha. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रीला
Jai,
प्रभुपाद की
Ki
जय,
Jai,
बोलो प्रेमानंदे हरि
Hari
बोल।
Hari Hari Bol.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare
Thank you everybody, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.